Gordon Macphail Cask Strength from Glenburgie Distillery, 56.5% ABV. Should you be on the hunt for one of these? Check out the Whiskey Whistle. Hello my whiskey people, Mark here from Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you Gordon Macphail's Cask Strength, Glenburgie 1995. It's a little over 22 years old and it's 56.5% ABV. Obviously natural in color, unchill filtered. Bang! Everything we want, it's right in there. Now let's get that poured. Look at those nice bubbles it makes, hey? The thicker the head of bubbles you get and the bigger the bubbles, the higher the proof. Cool stuff. Okay, there we go. Get that opened. We'll get it poured into a Glencairn. I would have liked to have used the Peugeot glass, but unfortunately I don't have a clean one right now. And it goes just a little bit, little over 15 milliliters. All right, now on Whiskey Whistle, we're going to check out the color of the whiskey. We're going to check out the legs of Glenburgie from Gordon Macphail Cask Strength. Then we'll check out the nose, the palate, and the finish before we give it a Whiskey Whistle whiskey score. And I'll tell you if you should be rushing out to grab one of these interesting bottles. First of all, the color. Let's have a look at the color of Glenburgie 1995. A very rich hue. It's almost reddish. It's almost like a cherry wood again. And if you line that up in a bunch of bourbons, nobody would know the difference. Such a nice dark color. Not quite as dark as, say, a first fill sherry could be at that age, but all considered a very beautiful color. So now let's check out the legs. Let's see. What do we see there? Very, very slow to start. And oh my goodness, look at them. Look at how they just trickle down so slowly. That's a combination of the proof, the dissolved, whatever that's in here. There are all kinds of components that make that thicker or thinner. This one, however, very, very thick and syrupy. Beautiful. Now, before we check out the nose together, I am going to put a little whiskey hat on there for just a little while. There we are. While we're waiting, let's talk a little bit about Glenburgie. You may be wondering why you haven't seen any Glenburgie single malt whiskey in your local shops. This distillery was founded in 1810. That's a pretty long history compared to many of the distilleries. A lot of them were open then, but a lot of them came a little bit after that. Well over 200 years old. They produce 4.2 million liters of pure alcohol per year. So that's pretty big. That's getting into the big end of things. Owned by Pernod Ricard, mainly used for blended Scotch. Most of the whiskey distilled at Glenburgie is used for blends, most importantly Ballentines, but also Old Smuggler. Now, I've never seen Old Smuggler. I hope I find it someday. I would love to feature that. But Ballentines, very interestingly, most popular in Asia. The king in Korea, in many ways, especially the 17-year-old, the 30-year-old as well. That sells like hotcakes there. But a couple of years ago, Ballentines started putting out single malts under the Ballentines label, including Glenburgie. Now, I think I don't have the Glenburgie, but this is what the style looks like. It's this kind of rocky look to it. Ballentines single malt, Glentockers in this case. And then I also have Milton Duff as well. And then there's Glenburgie. And I dropped the ball in picking up the Glenburgie because I thought I would be able to get another one soon, but I have not yet gotten that. So you can get these very interesting bottlings from Ballentines. This is official bottles, actually. Aged 15 years, very reasonably priced. They were $56 American. And that was 2018 in January. So that should be roughly about the same price. It might have gone up a little bit since then. Anyway, very interesting distillery, long history, hard to find. So if you find this one and you watch this review and you think, that sounds pretty good, Mark, then just go ahead and try to grab one if you can, whether that's at auction, it'll still be very reasonable, or whether you find that from a local retailer. Okay, so let's give that a whiff. Such a waxy, dried fruit, spicy aroma. I get a lot of, kind of like a beeswax note. Maybe even a little bit of paraffin wax, but then you get this rush of fruit, and we're talking dried plums, aka prunes. We're talking a little bit of dried apricots, some dried Thompson seedless, the green grapes. Not a really rich raisin aroma, but a definite dried fruit aroma, which is lovely. Spices, cinnamon in there. Cinnamon, a little bit of like a butter toffee or butter mixed with maple syrup. I'm on this maple syrup kick here with tasting notes because I'm smelling it everywhere. Butter and maple syrup. It's a really lovely aroma. Something that you could just sit and enjoy the smell of for an hour or more. Now the alcohol does have a kick here. I really feel there are glasses that are better suited for high strength whiskey. Now that I've tried the Peugeot Impitoyable whiskey glass, and also the Tua Irish whiskey glass. And I feel like you'd get a better total experience from these glasses. Norland also. Very interesting glass. And it actually is a little bit flared if you look at the way the top of the glass is. So I like the aroma from the Norland. Anyway. Dusty. So sweet. All right, let's get on to the palate, shall we? Cheers, everybody, and a big cheers to the Winnipeg Whiskey Club. You guys rock. Cheers. Such a rich, full, broadly flavored mouthfeel. Taste, pardon me, with a very, very thick mouthfeel. Very rich. There's some citrus. There is the dried fruit there. There are baking spices as well. Oh, it just really, it overpowers your senses. The finish is exceedingly long, full of flavor, a slight bit of elegant dryness, if I can say that. There's a hint of astringency. There's a touch of tartness. There is oodles of sweetness, a little bit of spice. Everything is there, and it's pretty nicely balanced. One more sip, neat. The key here with enjoying this type of next level whiskey is adjusting the size of your sip. Try to get the least amount possible, and you'll find you'll be able to taste the whiskey more, and you won't be overpowered by the cask strength ABV. 56.5% is nothing to fool around with. All right, let's add some water. I'm going to add 1 and 2. That should do. Mix it up a little bit. Let that sit for 1 more minute. All right. The fruit really ramps up here with water added. Dried fruit, yes, but also a touch of pineapple, a little bit of, orchard fruits like a little bit of peach or nectarine. Lots of dried apricot. A little bit of prune or dried plum. Again, the Thompson seedless raisins. These are all well represented. Cinnamon. Gobs of vanilla here. Canadian maple syrup, not the American stuff. Just kidding. Actually, Manitoba maple syrup is kick-ass. And I've been trying to find more. Haven't found any. Beautiful. I really feel like you could drizzle that over ice cream or over some kind of a dessert, like a plum pudding, and it would be just amazing. Speaking of fruitcake, medium fruitcake, not the dark kind. All right, cheers again. A little bit of water added, and it's a fruit bomb. This is an utter fruit bomb. Dried fruit, fresh fruit, pardon me. It's got everything. Then you got the vanilla, you got the citrus working. Why don't they put out more Glenburgie? Give me more Glenburgie. Your Ballentines sales have trailed off a little bit. Come on. Even in Asia, single malts are taking a bit of a bite out of the blended Scotch whiskey market. Last little sip. Cheers. I love the 5 flavors that I'm getting here. It's tart, some astringency, a little bit of delicate bitterness. It's got oodles of sweetness. It's spicy. In this case, not a lot of umami, so it's not got that savory sort of cooked mushroom or meat kind of a note. Such a sexy whiskey. I even love the name, Glenburgie. All right. Oh, you know it's coming. Yeah, you do. We're going to give this a malt hug. And a kiss. Mwah. All right. Let's get on to the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey Score for Gordon Macphail Cask Strength Glenburgie 1995. What is that going to be? I'm pretty sure you get an inkling of how I feel about this. You got it, folks. It's going to be 94 out of 100. You heard it. 94 out of 100 is the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey Score for Gordon Macphail's Cask Strength Glenburgie Distillery 1995 refill sherry butt, distilled on the 8th of June 1995, bottled on the 28th of August 2017 for a full 22 years and 2 months and 20 days. Beautiful. It's great at cask strength. It is also excellent with water added. This is a next level sherry whiskey. It's a sherry monster for sure, but it's also a fruit monster, and I like those a lot. Absolutely a bottle you should run out and grab if you can. If you can find it, get one. Get 2. The price is pretty good, and the value is exceptional. All right. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that review. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the link over here somewhere. Hit the bell so you're notified of the future whiskey whistles. Okay, ding ding. And if you've been watching till now, why not join me on Patreon? patreon.com/whiskey whistle. Become a patron. You will get your name in the credits, which are coming up just in a little bit, and you'll also get advanced viewing of all the future whiskey whistles. Okay? Goodbye now.